You go to a guru to teach him. So he went to the guru and started teaching him. He said, I don't want you to do anything. Only protect and look after my grandfather, that's all. Don't take any further initiative. My grandfather is the pivot, and when he is protected, I am safe. Therefore, Bhishma meva bhirakshantu. He gave an order. This is how. Bhishma was standing by the side and he was unable to tolerate. Somehow he wanted to put a stop to him. So he said, ah! Like a lion he roared and then blew his conch. That made the commencement. Following that, they raised all kinds of war cries, instrumental as well as mouth, everything. And the sound was very tumultuous, says Sanjaya. Then, for the reciprocal sound, the entire Pandava army kept quiet, with Drishtadyumna as the leader. Drishtadyumna was the commander-in-chief. When Bhishma blew the conch, it was for Drishtadyumna to counter it. He kept quiet. I am there only for name's sake. Bhishma cannot be met by me. So he kept quiet. When everybody kept quiet and nobody was raising the sound, Krishna decided, I had told them and I had done a pratijna that I will not wield the weapons and fight in the war. But I had not said I will not blow my conch. So he took his Panchajanya, he blew it. All the people blew only conches, never raised the other sounds. And that sound was so pronounced, so reverberating, that it started hitting the hearts of all the army men of Duryodhana, says Sanjaya. This is the subtle influence of Dharmakshetra. Just see how Duryodhana behaved. He behaved in the most ignoble manner, self-defeating, self-destroying manner. Whereas the Pandavas, they did not reciprocate the sound of Bhishma. They kept quiet. Then Krishna gave the lead by his conch, and all of them blew only the conches. And that conch spell hit the hearts and minds of the whole Kaurava army. See how the Dharmakshetra's subtle influence works in the battlefield. Then what happened? Arjuna wanted to examine the army and decide upon his choice moves. So he told Krishna, drive my chariot in front, station it in such a manner that I shall be able to examine the whole army, both armies, so that I can decide upon my specific moves. He ordered him. First time he could order Krishna. He could order Krishna first time. So he lifted his Gandiva and said, drive my chariot, station it. Krishna did it very well. Where did he station it? Right in front of Bhishma and Drona. And said, my dear Arjuna, you wanted to examine the army and decide upon your choice moves. Let me find out whether you can have any choice move at all or you need something else. Now see whether you are equipped enough to fight Bhishma and Drona. Do you have the mental and intellectual readiness to do so? War does not mean the courage derived from weapons, derived from physical strength. It needs something else. This is not merely a simple war. This is a war where your teachers and grandfathers are facing you. Understand? A possibility you perhaps would not have thought earlier. So he stationed. Arjuna looked at the whole army. Crumbled. War has not begun. He crumbled beforehand. And the Gandiva which he had lifted like this, it started slipping, and he could not hold it. His fist was not powerful. So he says, Gandiva is slipping, my body is trembling, mouth is drying up, mind is whirling, and the intelligence tells me not to fight. This is a sinful war. You tell me what is left aside in Arjuna. The material acquisition he had, Gandiva, slipped. He is not able to hold it. After all, it is inert. Suppose this watch falls from my hand. What does it mean? It is making an effort? No, I am not able to hold it. So there will come a time when your material acquisitions will not be able to be held by you. Understand that you are driven by your inside. You are not driven by your outside. Our body has to be employed by the mind. Every sensory organ has to be employed by the mind. If you are winking your eyes, the impulse will have to come from within. Mind is the motivator. Mind is the withholder. The mind is the source. The mind is the terminus. The mind is the sustenance. Understand it. So Arjuna crumbled and he said, I cannot fight, I will not fight, I retreat. Unable to stand, he sat. Krishna heard it. He was not in a mind to approve what Arjuna said. He said, what you are suffering from is not sympathy to the people whom you see around. It is, on the other hand, unmanliness, weakness, unbecoming of a fighter, a kshatriya. Arjuna, understand that you have come to the battlefield to display your battling skill, not to distribute your sympathy here. This is not a place for sympathy. Everyone assembled here has come with his own specific resolution to fight, as a result of which to kill or get killed. Have you understood my expression? Huh? Yes. Either to kill or to get killed. Until at last, all the people to die should die, will die. Out of 4.5 million warriors present in the battlefield, except 10, all fell dead. Then only the battle stopped. It is not like the present day warfare where civilian children also are bombed. Only the fighters who came to the battlefield ready to fight fought each other. And they alone killed, they alone died. It was never extended beyond the battleground. So understand, this is weakness of your heart. It is not sympathy. I will not allow you. Klaibyam asmagamah partha naidatvai upapadyade kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyatvotishta parantava. Leave your weakness and get up. That is the only way, means and solution. Arjuna was stunned but awakened. What did I say? Arjuna was stunned, no doubt, but he was awakened. After all, Krishna was his dearest friend, most dependable, dearest friend. How could he distrust him? So there is a lot of meaning in what Krishna says. So he said, okay, I will never raise the note of sympathy anymore. But I have valid questions. You have stationed the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona, and both of them are worshipable to me. Both of them have no enmity towards me. I love them, I adore them. They have benedictions to pronounce on me. It is one thing to fight between enemies. It is another thing to fight between friends and mutually respecting people. So how can I do it? I agree that I have to, but let me know a methodology by virtue of which I will be able to handle my mind and do the fight as you want. So he raised some pertinent questions. Katham bhishmamaham sankhe dronam cha madhusudana yusubhi pratiyotsyami pujarha varisudana. How can I fight Bhishma and Drona? The moment I see them, I should fall at their feet and worship them with flowers. Instead of that, I should discharge piercing arrows at their bodies. It is not possible at all. My mind will not allow. Nobody's mind will allow. So you should enable my mind, if at all, to take up this challenge. When I think about it, Here is the beginning of Gita. When I think about it, he says, Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yachreyasyan nishchidam bruhitanme shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prabannam. In the light of what you say, Krishna, I seem to be overpowered by karpanya dosha, short-sightedness, narrow-mindedness. Therefore, I am not able to think in terms of propriety. The only way I can behave now is yachreyasyan nishchidam bruhitanme. What will bring me outstanding welfare? What will bring me everlasting good? Instruct me on that path. I am no more your brother-in-law, nor am I an excellent fighter. I am your disciple. You are my teacher. Remaining in the position of a teacher, teach me, your student, he said. Did you understand what I said? Huh? So, the entire Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna standing in the position of a teacher, and Arjuna sitting in the position of a student, disciple. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachogamuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasapatna mriddham rajyam suranam abhijadhipatyam. He also added, my dear Krishna, don't pat me and then say, somehow you get up and fight. And if you fight, if you lose the war, you will get heaven. If you gain the war, you can enjoy the kingdom. Don't tell me about this. My present position is such that all my body and the senses are being scorched by the grief of my mind. My entire body is scorched by the internal grief. I cannot think of taking the weapon, taking my bow, fighting, nothing I can. Unless you are able to cool my heart, make me stable and poised so that I can take my weapon. There is no question of fighting at all. If you have anything to do for that, please open your mouth. Otherwise, don't speak. Tell me now, what is this Bhagavad Gita? These words are said by the man of action, right in front of the actional challenge that he is in. He said, I am not able to act. Give me the power to act. First of all, console me. Redress my grief. Redress my grief. We are encountering grief, big and small, throughout our life. Some dear ones may die prematurely. When anything like this happens, death, disease or poverty, never lose yourself. There is not going to be an incident or an accident in this life, the like of which has not taken place earlier. I don't know whether you have understood me. Is there anything called a new experience in life? Any kind of a fate or plight you have, already something similar has taken place and the world has existed, survived. You will also survive. India is a country with 7,500 kilometers of sea coast, if my remembrance is correct. And we are always suffering from occasional vagaries of sea, cyclone, water, etc. Either you learn to live with them or vacate the land and go away. And we are one of the 10 countries in the world like this. So whenever we have a cyclone, whenever they have a hurricane, don't start lamenting newly, Baba. It is all the old story. We are much more developed, much more advanced. Try to predict matters well with new gadgets and developments, etc. Make arrangements for evacuation and keep sufficient funds, sufficient men. Learn to live. Otherwise say goodbye and go. Let us not be retreating. Not at all. So many things have taken place in life already. Nothing more is going to be. Nothing is a new experience. So we should be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachokamuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasabadna mrdham rajyam suranam apichadhipatyam. Krishna, Arjuna's part is over. Now, from the 11th verse of the 2nd chapter, Krishna's advice commences. The first thing he says is, Ashocyan anvashocastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase. Ashocyan anvashocastvam. You are grieving over those who should not be grieved at all. Every time we are grieving, and we are unnecessarily grieving. What has taken place? You tell me what has taken place. Only such things which are possible and probable in this world have taken place. Nothing new. So read the situation, learn to assimilate the impact and go forward. Bhagavad Gita is meant to equip you for it, enrich you for it, empower you for it, enlighten you, elevate you, enlarge you. Bhagavad Gita is a Gita of life, Gita of life, Gita of action, Gita of resolve, Gita of interaction, Gita of meeting success and defeat alike. What did I say? See, because Argentina Messi did not do well, one boy in Kerala put a note and jumped into the river and committed suicide. Now Argentina has struck a goal. Will he come back to life now? What is this? If in every football game, every time one man should strike a goal as if the other people are fools. See, a man is aging after all. A person who has struck a goal last time, where is the guarantee that he will be able to do so this time also? Somebody else may be excelling. See, after all, a football game means what? Two teams are playing. And one team, the other team. Maybe X is excellent, next time Y is excellent. And X should appreciate the other. It is both of them should appreciate each other. If I have won, you have played well, you allowed me to win. Shake hands with the other team. And you have played so well that you have won over me. Can there be a one-team football? Huh? So if one team is successful, the other team is unsuccessful. Why should one boy jump into the river and die? Just see, people are doing this. So we should understand, ashocyan anvashocastvam. Grieve for a little while, provided it relieves you. Shed your tears, I have no objection. But never say that. Never say that. Oh, God. What God? Nothing is gone. The world remains intact. Why don't you think? Ashocyan. You see, Arjuna was merely emotional and sentimental. Krishna started initiating into him that spirit and process of using the intelligence, introspection. The whole of human life is meant to raise one from emotion to introspection, from mind to intelligence. Arjuna is standing in the same field in which Bhishma and Drona are standing. Bhishma and Drona are not worried about. They don't look gloomy. But Arjuna, looking at whom? The cheerful and poised Bhishma and Drona, he is crying. Why is he crying? Bhishma and Drona. They don't themselves have any problem. Then why should he have the problem? So every time we are grieving unnecessarily over matters. We are not supposed to grieve here. We are supposed to understand the crisis, assimilate the impact every time, We are born here to assimilate, not physically but mentally. Physically, no, mentally. There is no life situation which we cannot assimilate the impact of. Our mind is resourceful enough. I will make you understand the measure of the mind. You see a mustard, you see a mango, you see a jackfruit, you see a mountain, you see the sea, and you see the space. All these are equally seen and reflected by your mind. Tell me, your mind is bigger than what you see or smaller than? Give me an answer. Then why are you setting limits to your mind? What is it that the mind cannot assimilate from the world? I don't say body will assimilate, mind will assimilate. So he says, Ashocyan anvashochastvam. You are saying that Bhishma and Drona would die. Let me tell you what is life. From my own experience, he says, Natve vaham jadunasam natvam neme janadhipaha najaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. Arjuna, listen to it from me. There was no time when I was not present. You were not present. Bhishma, Drona and others were not alive. There will not be a time when we shall not be alive. What does it mean? As we are present now, we were and we shall also be. There is nothing called death. 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 Do you understand me? Do you agree with me? You cannot say no because you have not gone into the question. See, I was present yesterday, 1 year back. 10 years back you said I. 10 years later you say I. Does it not mean the I was present and the I is present? Will it not be present again? Your reference by the term I is to something which has never changed throughout your life. Where the body has changed, mind has changed, intelligence has changed, ego has changed, the world has changed. But the I remains changeless. So will it not remain forever? Speak to me from the intelligence, not from your senses, not from your emotion. Arjuna, there was no time when I was not. You are not. Bhishma and Drona and the others were not. There will not be a time when we shall not be either. We are ever present, eternal, everlasting, immortal, unborn, undying, interminable, inexhaustible, ever full, unshakable. This is the message of Gita. A few months back, in an Ayurvedic famous institution of Kerala, the very senior man who founded it happened to die. Our Nutun Swamiji told me that he has died. Please write a letter. So I initially wrote a little condolence letter and said, Swamiji, then Nutun Swamiji told me, no, Swamiji, they are very Ayurvedic people knowing a lot of Sanskrit. You can write something philosophical. So I wrote a letter quoting Bhagavad Gita. You know, the man who received the letter wrote me a letter back. Of all the condolence messages that we have received, yours alone is of worth and merit. That is the only letter which has given some peace and consolation for us. I was quoting, because they were Sanskrit people, quoting verses from Bhagavad Gita I wrote. And one verse was something like this. My dear souls, nothing else will console you. Natve vaham jadunasam natvam neme janadhipaha najaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. Arjuna, you speak of death. Death does not mean extinction. It only means a transformation. This is the second message of Gita. Are you hearing me, my dear souls? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dekhandara praptihi dhirastatra namuhyadi. What is birth? Exiting of the fetus, the child, from the mother's womb to the world outside. Is it necessary or not? Huh? Is it welcome or not? In the same manner, the born child should grow every day or not? So the child should there must be transformation from kaumaram yauvanam jara. And then suppose you start growing, and the self-arresting condition is not there, whereby your physical body stops its growth, then don't you think you will have to replace your doors every year? If you start growing? Huh? Why are you keeping quiet? Would you like your son to grow infinitely? Huh? So as we grow, the growth should be stopped. Thereafter there should be decline. And after some time, tell me what should happen. Huh? I want you to say. Please don't want to live too long. It's problematic. See, you are 90 and your children are already 70. How can a 70-year-old son support a 90-year-old father? Then you have to hire some people. Let us all go in time. In good time, let us go. Smilingly go. Please don't live too long and don't live too short also. Everything is in order. Everything is in order. So he says that Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehandara prapti. It's only transformation which takes place. The soul transits one body and it takes up another body. What is there to worry about? So death does not indicate extinction. It is only a transition. Arjuna was consoled. The only question remaining was life. What? Our life is an interaction. What? Always it is an interaction. The moment you get up early in the morning, maybe late in the morning, open your eyes. You have seen the roof, interaction with the roof. Then you look down, go to the toilet. Everywhere it is interaction. In the interactional life, the individual remains the same and the other things are variable and changeable. So life is an interaction between the senses on the body and the objects around. He says, this interaction between the senses and the body is such that every time it results in one of the two experiences called pleasantness, happiness, or unpleasantness, unhappiness. There are only two experiences which all the sensations put together produce in you. Will you mark my words? Huh? In all the interactions, whether it is visual, auditory, or the other senses, these sensory interactions are not in the sensory level. When they trickle down to the mind level, it is either sukha or dukkha, either pleasant or unpleasant. And these things you don't have to produce. They are automatically, irresistibly generated. And what is sukha and dukkha? Are they two or really one? We say darkness and light. Are there two things like darkness and light? I would like to say there is only one item. The lowest degree of light is the highest degree of darkness, and the lowest degree of darkness is the highest degree of light. As you see light, you also see darkness. Only with light the eye can see. So if the eye sees darkness, is not darkness also luminous? Answer me. Why are you keeping quiet? Don't mortgage your intelligence. So darkness at least reveals itself. It cannot reveal other things. Light reveals itself and the other things. So it is the lowest degree of light. What is the sukha? The full extinction of dukkha. So in order to have sukha, should you not have preceding dukkha and its extinction? Yes or no? முதல்ல துக்கம் இருந்தால் தானே सुखम वरुम முதல்ல दुखम வேணுமே पहले तो दुख होना चाहिए जब दुख हो रहा है वो मिट जाएगा उसके बाद दुख का मिटना ही है सुख का आविर्भाव दुख से अलग कोई सुख नहीं है Am I clear or not? I will spend the whole night here. See, unless you have the preceding dukkha, you will never have the succeeding sukha. So, sukha will take you to dukkha. Is it not? Sukha will take you where? So, is it good? And dukkha will bring sukha. So, is it bad? Huh? Then what is your assessment now? Absurd. If dukkha were not there, you will not get sukha. If sukha is there, it is driving you to dukkha. Either you accept both or you reject both. And these sukha dukkhas you are not to create. They will by themselves be there. And in the whole life, because it is an interaction between the senses and the objects, sukha dukkhas are inevitable, inescapable. If these are the only two experiences in life, whether you have one child or 3 children, whether you have X amount of money or Y amount of money, 1 car or 3 cars, sukha dukkhas are constant. The entire world is perceived by the 5 senses. The world may be many things, but they are seen only by 5 senses. So they are 5 or many. என்ன நீங்க பேசாம இருக்கீங்க आप लोग चुप रहते हैं क्यों दुनिया में बहुत है या 5 है बोलिए ना You can interact with the world only through 5 senses. Let the world be anything. The senses are revealing the objects of the world. So when you look at them, they become 5-fold. And the 5-fold, when they reach the mind, they become 2-fold. And the 2-fold also disappears when you go to sleep. बोलिए आप कहाँ रहते हैं आप This is the analysis of Krishna. He analyzes life. What Gita wants us to do? Gita wants you to analyze your life, understand your personality, find your identity, and live gloriously, marvelously, illustriously, courageously, always, always, always not being subdued by the world. Be a master in the world, not a slave. Our body is a world product, but our mind is not a world product. Our body is a biological matter energy aggregate, but our mind, intelligence and ego are spiritual resplendent factors and constituents. As the spirit, the world is below us. Do you agree or disagree? This is the message of Bhagavad Gita. So he says, Tan tidikshasva bharata samadukha sukham dhiram somridatvaya kalpade. You only have to develop an even attitude towards sukha dukkhas, considering them to be mutual, complementary. They cannot each exist by itself. They can only together exist. And one brings the other brings this. Both of them are mutual and complementary, like men and women, light and darkness, yesterday and today, good and bad. Krishna analyzes the human personality, and I will stop after that. analyzes the human personality. Please understand. Your body is a matter-energy aggregate. We have a composite personality. In the composite personality, the biological body is only an external gross counterpart. What did I say? An external gross counterpart. There is an internal subtle counterpart. That is the inner personality. It consists of mind, intelligence and ego. Ego you can leave for the time being. The body is inert, insentient because matter and energy. So our whole body, as well as the bodily limbs and organs, everything will have to be individually employed by the mind. So you tell me, which is more important, the body or the mind? And in the composite personality, here is the equation, listen to it. Indriyani paranyahu, indriyebhyah param manah, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhe paradastu saha. In the 3rd chapter he says, Indriyani paranyahu. Can you recite this? Indriyani paranyahu. The senses are superior to the objects. Where is the sun rising? Very near or very distant? Huh? You have doubt? We can reach it with a bullock cart? The sun is rising at a great distance. You sitting somewhere in the corner of the globe, you are able to perceive it. Where do you perceive it? The eyes are very small, the sun is very huge, and you are perceiving it in your mind. The mind takes an imprint of the sun through the eyes and shows it to you. Do you see the object, material sun any time? Huh? You have doubt? Huh? All of you are seated before me. I see you. Where do I see you? Is it anywhere here? Or inside? So the mind takes an imprint of the sun at such a great distance. Tell me, what is the capacity of your mind? What is the capacity of the eyes? There must be some ophthalmologist here. One eye specialist told me the far point of the eye is infinity. And this eye was manufactured or designed or evolved by the fetus all by itself in the mother's womb. Nobody helped. No external help is there. So what is the power of what is within the body? So the senses are superior to the objects, and superior to the senses is the mind. Indriyani paranyahu, indriyebhyah param manah. Mind is superior to the senses, because without the mind, the senses cannot work. Gently open the eyes of a sleeping person, deeply sleeping person, and show a flower. And take it away, leave the eyelids. Next day you ask him, did you see the flower? What will he say? Why? Because his mind was not there. So the mind has to employ consciously the senses, then only it can function. Manasastu para buddhi. Superior to the mind is the intelligence, and still superior is the I that you refer to. Yo buddhe paradastu saha. What does it mean? You in your personality contain everything superior to the world. Yes or no? See, I am talking. It's an exposure. Why are you not true in receiving it? Am I right when I said the senses are superior to the world or not? Yes. And then I said mind is superior to the senses. Then intelligence is superior to the mind. And still superior is the I. So in your human personality, every factor, is it not superior to the world objects? Yes. Please lift your hands who agree, understand or not. You should encourage the speaker also. Am I talking to walls? You have come here to be enlightened. And I must have the satisfaction that you have got what you looked for. So the human personality is analyzed in Gita, and everyone is told that right from the senses in the body, mind, intelligence, ego and the soul, everything in you is superior to the world. Being so, never feel low. Not at all. Psychologically, you should feel a sense of abundance, a sense of opulence, a sense of invincibility. There is no impact from the world which the mind cannot assimilate. When it is assimilated, it becomes an enrichment. This is how he has mentioned about Sthita Prajna and Sthitadhi. Abhuryamanam achala pradishtam samudram abhav pravishanti yadvad tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kama kami. Right from the beginning when you wake up, it should be like the entry of rivers into the sea. Entry of? How powerfully, broadly, deeply some of the rivers enter the sea. You will feel the sea will be overflowing, but nothing happens. Why? Because the river water has gone up from the sea. There is no water which the river brings anew. So just like the differently flowing rivers enter the sea, let through the senses many interactions enter into your system. You don't have to assimilate the physical interactions. You only have to assimilate the mental responses to the interactions. Not clear. Suppose you purchase a table, you have to assimilate the table? You only have to purchase, you have purchased the table and you have got a table or a TV, that's all. You have the feeling that you have something. Does any physical object enter your system? So only the impacts, and the impacts are mental or material. So cannot the mind assimilate its own impacts? Just like the sea is assimilating water. Suppose in place of water stones are flowing, can the sea assimilate? Huh? You have doubt. See, after all, our mind has to assimilate only mental responses and mental reactions. And the mind can always do it. It is infinitely resourceful. So, like a sea receiving the flow of rivers, be a stable and a poised individual so that all the impacts coming from the world you will assimilate and become more enriched. And as sage Vasishtha tells Sri Rama, he says, be a mighty performer, a mighty enjoyer, and a mighty sufferer. What? Huh? A mighty performer, a mighty enjoyer, and a mighty sufferer. Our capacity to suffer is more. Our capacity to enjoy will be more. Our performance also will be magnificent, stupendous. This is what Bhagavad Gita wants us to be. He explained everything to Arjuna and asked him, have you understood, my dear Arjuna? Did you listen to me attentively? Is your delusion gone? Have you got composure? He said, yes. Nashto mohaha smritir labdha. My delusion is gone. I have got right memory and knowledge. I forgot my identity when I came over here. After listening to you, I have understood. I have found my own identity. I am the imperishable. I am the imperishable, the invincible, the immortal, the undying, the unborn, the interminable, the ever full, the all-permeating, the abundant. I have understood. I have understood. By your grace, I will fight not one Mahabharata war, a score, a dozen of them. And Sanjaya, listening to the conversation, says, "Oh, wonderful is the conversation. Wonderful. I am very happy that I was also present. I have only one verdict to offer." What is that? Yatra yogeshwara Krishno, yatra partho dhanurdharaha, tatra shrir vijayo bhutihi, dhruva nidir madir mama. Where the Gandiva uplifting Arjuna is there. What? And where Krishna, to provide the necessary insight when necessary, Krishna is also there. There you will find justice, propriety, welfare, prosperity, and all-fold promotion. This is what we want. We want an intelligence which is illumined properly to guide the mind. And we must have a mind which is always given to striving and persevering without getting fatigued. If these two are there, human life becomes the best, resplendent. My dear souls, in the name of Bhagavad Gita, what I have to tell you is, never lose your heart. Make light of all situations. Have the confidence that the I you are referring to is referring to an infinite immortal presence. By the glory of your human birth, you are immortal. You don't have to become one. You already are. Take a few verses of Bhagavad Gita, read them, sing them to yourself. Before going every day for work, simply read 4 or 5 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Go, come back. Before going to sleep also you can read and see what it means to you. It is much higher a nutrition than anything that you can imagine from the medicine shops. It is a nutrition to the mind. It is a nutrition to the intelligence. It empowers you, enriches you, enlightens you, expands you, elevates you, crowns you every day with assurance, confidence, glory and fulfillment. This is what I have to say. Keep a copy of Bhagavad Gita, read it. At least a few verses. I would like to read I'd like you to read a chapter. That may not be. But I would like you to read 2, 3 or 4 verses. But try to introspect over them. Let that introspection be a constant friend of yours. Keep a book of Bhagavad Gita near your pillow. Open it, read it, and then go to sleep. When the eyes wink, keep it, go to sleep. The book that I am preparing, I am writing, I want it to be inserted in the pocket. It should be a pocket book. Printed, it will be a costly publication because very good paper we must have, and beautifully it should be done. Excellently it should be done. International standards. I should say heavenly standards. Okay, I am happy. I don't know whether you are happy. Coming to Gita Ashram is homecoming for me. So when they ask me, Swamiji, do you have any problem? No. Gita Ashram I was going, that's a place in my heart, I will come. Readily I said. Okay. Please, please keep this book. Read it. If you keep a book of Bhagavad Gita, whenever you have a problem with your wife or husband, children, open it, closing your eyes, open it, and you start reading from the right side. And when you go on reading, you will find, see, if you go on reading like this, you will find by the time you read 2, 3 or 4 verses, you will get a solution to your problem. You will get a solution to your problem. It tells you to manage your mind, to administer your body, to effectively handle your life. We have 3 types of relations and interactions. Residential or domestic interaction, then professional interaction, then societal interaction. So in the domestic front, professional front, and in the societal front. But the interacting individual is the same, you. So the solution lies in you, There are some people who come to me, we are people who are approached by all kinds of people. So sometimes some women will come and they will say, oh, my husband is very irritable, I cannot talk to him. And were you married in love? That is a long story. In the whole day is not love. So I say, shall I tell you something? Don't leave the subject. After all, you are married and you are equal partners in life. Your husband cannot brush you aside. So have the confidence. Feel all the equalness in you and tell him. Call him by any means. My dear husband, you can say your word. I would like to tell you something. But I would like to tell you when you are ready. I would like you to patiently hear me without any shouting or anything like that. So you tell me when you are ready to hear. Then I will say. Instantly he will say, tell now itself. So don't say. Don't say. Then you say, take your own time and let me know. That man will be pestering you. See, this is one method I have suggested and people are applying it. Why should you talk to your husband if he doesn't like to hear you? I have something to tell you and it is something very important. I would like you to listen to it well. Provided you are patient and ready, then I will say. Whenever you are ready, let me know. I am ready, I am prepared. Talk to like this and see what happens. We have to set right the home. We have to set right the office. We have to set right the society. But all this comes under mind management. Mind management. And mind is yours and yours. It is inaccessible to the others. Bhagavad Gita is a wonderful treatise on this subject. I sometimes say the psycho-intellectual dimensions which Bhagavad Gita portrays and describes before us, I don't know when the science world is going to understand it. Oh, the other day I was taking Bhagavad Gita in the ashram, then I was saying some of the psycho-intellectual dimensions. Can there be such a mind? A mind with so much of sublimation, so much of enrichment, so much of resourcefulness, so much of power of assimilation. It says you can assimilate the whole universe. Where are the psychologists or psychiatrists who can think of these dimensions? It's a wonderful book, my dear soul. I have been speaking on Bhagavad Gita for the past 63 years. I have been speaking, moving with this book. I address the village crowds, I address the corporate officials, I address the normal householders, school children, teachers, very different type of, many sections of the people. The other day, they wanted me to go to Dehradun, but we could not. So they said, at least talk to us in Skype. More than 100 Indian Forest Service officials were there. It was a special program arranged by Japan. They are sponsoring the money. There were 4 or 5 Japanese people also, and I spoke from our ashram on the Skype. It was only this Bhagavad Gita, wonderful, exposing the human personality, its depth, its profundity, its magnificence, might, magnitude. Please understand this, understand this. Mind is superior to matter, matter, matter. Okay. I am happy that I came here. I am seeing such a large number of people seated here in the new hall, which I am visiting for the first time. I embrace all of you and bless you. All of you must have good and noble children born in your families. It is not in one generation, as many generations as yours will be upon the earth. And these children should first of all be loving their home. They must equally have love, first of all for the family, love for the society. They must have trust and faith in God. And they must be able to contribute to their own national and also global productivity in a creditable manner. They must always be inspired and guided by values, valued goals. This is the type of blessing that I have for all of you. I hope you will cherish them and you will be benefactors, receptacles for them. Samvedyavarjitamanuttamamekamadhyam Samvidpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman Hridyeva kalanarahita kriyam tu Kurvan agartrapadamethya samodidashri Kurvan agartrapadamethya samodidashri. Hari, Hari, Hari. We shall have a conclusional recitation by the whole group, a chorus recitation of Omkara. That will mark the finale. Harihi Om Tats. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.